Hello everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join me today. Today we're going to be looking at part 3 of our deeper look at EducationCity, and this time personalised revision folders. Now, if you have joined us in previous webinars, thank you for taking the time to join us again. And if this is your first one, welcome. Really pleased to have you here today. So hopefully in today's we are going to be looking at the success tracker and how you can sort of plan personalised revision folders using that tool, and obviously using the My Cities for those folders, and maybe having a quick look at the revision journal as well at the end there. Now, just before we get started, I do need to let you know that the account I'm going to be using, as always, it is a made-up school. Any students' names or staff names that you see, don't worry, no GDPR is being broken there. They are all made up. And again, it is an English account that I'm going to be using, but don't worry if you are joining us from Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, or anywhere outside of England. I will point out the areas that may look slightly different to you. And finally, if you've got any questions as I'm going along, please do wait until the very end of the webinar, where I'll be able to provide you with our email address and you can send them over. We do love to hear from you. Okay, let's head over to EducationCity and we can get started. And here we are. Now, again, I'm going to be using the new homepage. For those of you who may still be on the older one, don't worry, you'll have a ribbon just like this one, and you can click here and it will show this new page. And as you can see, straight in front of you, you have your assessments just there. Now, obviously, we've got different assessments that are available to you. For those of you who may have seen in our last webinars, we looked at the different assessments that were available, including the multiplication tables check and the phonics screen. Do not worry if you have missed any of our webinars, because you'll be able to see them in our video user guide just here. And you can see, click on that, all of our previous webinars are there. And the things like being able to create the groups, which are going to come in really useful today, that will talk you through that. So it's a really, really useful guide. And don't worry if when you log on, you get a little feedback button pop up like this one. We do like to hear from you. And obviously EducationCity works off of teacher feedback. So really, really important to us. Okay, so when all of your assessments are done and they are marked for you, all of the scores are tracked, and you can track these in our success tracker, which is where we're going to head to first. Now, it is available on this left-hand column. I'm going to head into the success tracker here. And again, you can have a look for student scores from any dates for a term, a half term, an academic year, maybe even a key stage if you wish to. I'm going to head back to January, where I issued a test to my students, and I want to see what the results were there. And again, you can see there, you can pop in a week, however long you need to. Now, just here, you can look for a group or an individual student as well. So it's really, really useful tool for like parents' evening, things like that. I'm going to start off with a class though, and go. And then this will show me everything my students in my class have done within that time frame. And as I was hoping, it's brought up the formative assessment there. Now we can sort of have a look there at the sort of lowest score. Henry just there. Maybe we know that Henry is one of those students that struggles with maths. Maybe he's a student who's been away for a while and needs that extra support. So you can have a look there, but you can also have a look via the high scores as well. Now, the other thing we can do is we can go up here and we can actually look for our individual groups. So I'm going to have a look at my Hufflepuff children. I'm just going to update there. And these are my sort of higher ability students in my class. And as we can see, most of them got 80% or above. Owen got 56, maybe he struggled slightly. Maybe he didn't complete a lot of the assessment. But don't worry, because what you can do is I'm going to click on this band, and it will take me into that assessment where I can see the answers that Owen gave to these questions, and we can have a look at ones that maybe weren't attempted and incorrectly answered ones as well. So we can go through them, we can have a quick look. It may just be a simple misconception that he's struggling with and something that we can address. Now, earlier on, I mentioned the revision journal. For those of you who don't know, a number of our assessments, in addition to being marked for you, will provide children with an independent revision journal, and this will prescribe remedial content for that child based upon the questions that they've gotten wrong. And it will recognise foundation skills as well. So if a child got a number of fraction questions incorrect, it will recognise the foundation skill to that as being multiplication and division, and those tools will go into that child's revision journal. So we can head into that revision journal here to see what the computer prescribed, what the system prescribed as the gaps, or to fill the gaps, I should say, for this child. We can have a look through. Obviously, multiplication there is an issue. Maybe that's something we need to work on. Maybe it's a lesson that he missed previously or something like that. So we're going to head back along our trail. And obviously you can print them off a certificate. Maybe if you've seen that they're doing a number of those tools in their revision journal, you can print off that certificate if you wish to. And we can head back here. Now you can export this data if you need to, so really good for reporting to SLT if needed. So that is our success tracker, and as I've mentioned, you can look for classes, you can look for groups, or for individual students as well, and obviously create those reports as you see necessary. So if I just head back to the home page, off of that, I discussed the success tracker that we have available. If I head back to our here we go, success tracker. I mentioned the revision journal, we'll come back to that in a little bit, and the My Cities where you can prescribe that work. So here we go, let's head in, and you can see you've got your My Cities just here. For those of you who don't already know, EducationCity has upgraded all accounts to include that 24-hour access during this lockdown period. So you can create those folders for students to send home. Now, if I head into my classwork, the great thing is as well, if I head down here, you can see I've got my multiplication folder, whether you've created it using the buttons here, and you've imported using the search content, the subjects area, or even the curriculum map tools. Again, if those aren't familiar for you, have a look at previous webinars, they will talk you through those. But what I'd like to show you, if I just scroll down here, you can see I've got my base one, and then I've edited that out for my different groups of students. So I can click into the box just there, actions, and create a copy. Now in creating that copy, this is one that I'm going to give to Henry, because we know that Henry struggles with sort of the basics of multiplication. So this is something that I'm going to edit slightly for him. I'm just going to change that. And it's opened up that base folder, so I can edit what's in here. So I don't want him to look at formal written methods at the moment, so I'm going to take some of those out. I do, however, want him to practice his multiplication tables check, maybe the 20-second one just there to build up his confidence. And then we can have a look through, and I'm going to get rid of the 7 times table because I do want him to work on those basics. Now you can see to get rid of content, make it a bit of a flash there. To get rid of content, if you just hold down the mouse on that particular tool and drag towards the top or the bottom and let go, that will delete it for you from that area. And then you can sort of change the image. So this is going to go to Henry. I'm going to change the colours if I need to. Some nice different colours there. You can change those too. I'm just going to click on OK. And then we can pop in a little comment there if we need to for Henry. Sort of practice your multiplication tables, use these, things like that. You can add in that comment. And I'm just going to put in there, stay safe Mrs. T. There we go, nice little message. And I'm just going to save that, because then when it comes to the students, instead of picking a class or a group, I'm going to head over to the individual area, and I'm just going to type in Henry's name. And there he is just there. And I'm going to add that in. So this folder is just going to go to Henry. So this is a really good way. So you can create revision folders for different groups of students or for a whole class if you need to. But this way, I'm just going to give this to Henry because I know these are areas that he needs to work on. And save. And then comes your preferences. You guys know this. This is all down to your requirements. You know your children. You know what they're going to work best towards. Now, I know Henry, and I know if he's got a countdown timer on these activities, he's going to panic a little bit. So I am going to turn that countdown timer off, so he's got all the time in the world to have a go and to keep trying. The other thing is I'm going to leave this as non-sequence because I want him to bop in and out of the different tools, learning in the way that he feels he wishes to learn. I can sequence if I want to, and then they'll go through the order that I've set them in. But this one I'm going to leave open to Henry. And the minimum score for the pass, I'm going to leave that at 80% for now, but I can monitor that in the tracking section if I wish to. So I'm just going to publish that for Henry. I can schedule a time frame for in the future, but I'm going to leave this as indefinitely for now. And there it is. So that is a really good way of providing that personalised revision for individual students. Now, if I just log out as Henry, so head into that home page just there, I'm just going to very briefly log out, and I'm going to log in as Henry just here. And this is what it will look like when Henry logs in. So you can see he's got his revision just here from any assessments that he's done previously. This is where those revision folders will sit. And you can see here the scores that he's got in maths previously. It really is something that he struggles with. And he can click into one of those and start revising. And obviously he'll get like a little sticker there when he's finished his revision. But that folder that I've just set him will be in his classwork. There it is just there. And he can go through and he can nip in and out of those. And obviously any homework will be in his homework folder as well. And that is where he will find those tools. And if he wants to practice on his own, he can head into the subjects area, into maths, and he can start practicing his times tables just there. So he can support himself in independent learning as well. So that is pretty much everything that I've got for you today. Use the success tracker to guide you in the personalised learning. And then those My Cities are really useful for revision folders. And don't feel like you have to create one for every member of your class. You can obviously group children using the information given to you via the success tracker. And then that revision journal is obviously done for you automatically by the computer, and something that is personal to each child based upon the gaps in their learning. Now, don't forget that this webinar, along with every other, can be found in our video user guide, including our learning record activity sheet, which can also be found in our free resources area. So any that maybe children pick up on using the pick and place subject area, parents can take a note in. But all of our webinars can also be found on our YouTube page. So just head to YouTube and type in Education City as it appears here, and all of those webinars you will be able to see. Please do let us know if there's any webinars that actually you would like to see. And we've had a couple of suggestions so far, and actually we are in the process of doing some of those webinars, planning those for the next month or so. So let us know. Here's our email address, any feedback that you have for us or any questions that you might have as well. We really do look forward to hearing from you. Until our next webinar, please do stay safe and take care. Bye-bye.